Winter forecaster Stephen Boyle here. Hope you're ready for some rain. Oh, yeah, lots of rain on the way. But the reason why I'm talking about this storm is for two reasons. One, there's a lot of dynamics with it, and two, there is a pattern change coming behind it. So that's why we are talking about this. All right, so here is our storm system that's going to be impacting us. This is going to happen during the weekend, by the way. And then this is going to set up the track for the storm. Okay, it's going to generally set up the track. It's actually going to kind of move like this, and it's going to bring a fresh injection of cold air. But the track is going to be like this. And the reason why that sets up the track is because it brings down that fresh cold air, so that this cold air that we have, it's just going to move out. Okay. So let's look at the pattern. And there's a pattern change coming. And I can tell you why that there's a pattern change coming. NAO, AO, and PNA, you want a negative NAO, you want a negative AO, and you want a positive PNA. We have a negative AO right now. We have a positive PNA, but we've had a positive NAO, which is the reason why this cold air is getting pushed out. Because if we had a negative NAO, let me tell you, this cold air, it would be stuck. And that's going to happen as we work our way through January. So here is the NAO. You can see it's projected to go negative, which is good if you like snow. Here's the AO. It's projected to stay negative and actually go even more negative. Notice, let me tell you, it's been pretty negative, which is the reason why we had 3-degree weather past couple days for lows. PNA, it's generally expected to stay positive, which is good. So all these things combined together show me that there is going to be, after the weekend, a trough in the eastern United States, which is a collection of cold air that is going to be locked into place, and we have a favorable pattern for a snowstorm or for a storm system to ride up the coast and bring heavy snow with it. Okay, favorable. It doesn't mean it will happen. The potential is there. So let's look at this upcoming storm system for Sunday. Here's your cold front. Here is our warm front. You've got a storm system located in here. This right here is your trough. Notice it's a U shape. Whenever you see a U shape, that indicates it's a trough. Whenever you see this right in here, okay, see how it's an upside down U? That's a ridge. Okay, so you've got a ridge out west, a trough out east, and this trough is moving eastward because you've got this cold front. Remember, if you have a cold front, that means cold air is moving whatever the direction the front is, and that's usually east. But there's warm Gulf of Mexico moisture riding up through the northeast. So that means we're going to be getting a lot of heavy rain. It's going to be a soaking rain. Euro shows the same situation. You've got a cold front right here. You would have a warm front somewhere in here. You would have your surface low somewhere in here. You've got your trough kind of coming up like this, and then you've got a ridge kind of in here. So this is a favorable situation. This is a favorable setup for heavy rain in southern New England and the Northeast, but a favorable setup for cold air to work its way eastward as well. Okay, which is why we're going to be getting a pattern change. So let's look at the surface maps. Here's a GFS. You got your low pressure right in here. You would have a front somewhere in here. You would that would be your cold front. You would have a warm front sort of situated like so. This is a bunch of Gulf moisture tapping into this low pressure, giving us heavy rains. This is going to be like 2 inches, if this is right, 2 inches of rain in 6 hours. Major, maybe even some thunder. Snow out in here. You've got some winds blowing off the lake. That indicates to me some lake effect snow. So we'll have to watch out for that. This is a Euro, similar situation. You've got your front in here. You've got a warm front here. You would have all of this as heavy rain, pounding rain, soaking rain. This is some snow. So if there is going to be any snow here in the United States, it would be in Michigan. But there will be some lake effect snow, as we mentioned before, just a couple seconds ago. The winds are going to be blowing off the warm lake waters. We're going to be getting some lake effect snow. So watch out if you live in Ohio. Parts of Michigan would be into this part of Michigan down in here. So that would be southwest Michigan. And also parts of New York later on in the day on Sunday. Alright, so that is the storm system. Lots of Gulf moisture. Again, the warm front is situated all the way up here, so I am inclined to say that even northern New England, rain, or at least freezing rain in the mountains. It's going to be this is a very warm storm, okay? Now, after this storm, remember I said that there's a pattern change. Now, there's two solutions here. There is going to be, notice, you do have a ridge out west, and you do have a trough out east, so that's pretty etched. The thing here is you've got there's a southern stream here, and then you've got your northern stream, okay? When you're talking about winter weather, there's always a northern and southern stream. What we want to happen is to see these two phase, and that's not happening here. They're separated. There's a big gap of almost like 2,000 miles, or at least 1,000 miles, between this and this. There's no phase. So that means life goes on, no snow. But here's the Euro. Now, what happens is the Euro has a phase happening little too late. Okay? The phase happens somewhere in here. It's a little after this model image. But you have a trough like so, and you end up getting like I said, you end up getting a phase somewhere in here. So that would end up bringing the storm somewhat in here, and you would end up getting a major snowstorm in down East Maine. But this is good because this shows that there's at least a possibility for a storm to form, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be exactly there. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be the storm forming here. It could be here. It shows that there's a possibility that the northern and southern streams phase together and produce a storm. That's what the Euro is saying. Because the GFS is saying absolutely not. That's not going to happen. The Euro is saying, yeah, that's going to happen. So we'll see. Last model run of the Euro showed pretty much what it's showing right now. So we'll see what happens. This is the GFS. Notice you've got some moisture down in here. Here's the Euro. Like I said, I would say that's about 2,000 miles. You've got your low here, got a low here. This is about 2,000 miles. Because it's about like 1,000 miles, or 1,500 from here to Florida. So that's about a 2,000 mile difference. Because from Maine to Florida, that's about 2,000 miles. So that's a 2,000 mile difference right there. We'll see what happens, okay? But the potential is there for a storm to form and for us to get some good snows. Now, where is the energy associated with that system? It's all the way back into this part of the Pacific. So it's still got like 4 days to come over. Good rule of thumb, if the energy is not in the continental United States, models will change. And models don't have a grasp on what's going to happen with the storm system. So there will be changes with the models, perhaps some more than others, but there will be changes. I can almost guarantee it. And new models come out in about an hour or so. So we'll see what happens. I'll try to update this tomorrow or the day after. But yeah, things are going to get interesting, and winter is finally here, I think. So stay warm. It's still a little chilly out there, and hopefully we can get some good snows within the next week or so. We'll see what happens. Comments, questions down below.